Blocktales's Battle Simulator finally got its first real update, introducing all the content from Demo 5. And with this update brings a totally hidden, super secret, new shop that's all the way on the side where you would never see if you're just there to fight. But, hey, hang on a second. Haven't I seen you somewhere before? I swear I've seen you, like, somewhere, but I just can't remember. I must be crazy. Anyway, this totally not evil guy sells fan-made cards, and the concepts are actually really awesome. So let's take a look at them. I'll demonstrate and explain each of these cards' effects, how creative it is, how good it is, and its best use case if it were actually in the main game, whilst giving an overall rating for each card. Now, there's none in total, so we're going to be here for a little bit, but let's go from top to bottom. Doom HP is a passive card made by Majin are pretty cool. That costs 3 VP, whilst having only 1 copy available. And just to say it simply, it's basically just Resurrect, since the user can self-revive once after fainting. However, instead of reviving with a set amount of HP that depends on the amount of Resurrect cards you have, all of the SP becomes transferred into HP. Also, when you're revived, you get inflicted with level 2 confusion for 3 turns. It also does give you Butterfingers, but come on, it's definitely unintentional. Now, Doom HP is incredibly creative, and I love the idea. But dude, I can't say good things about it. Just use Medkit. You're just making your life harder by using this. While you can use it to tank things like Azure Blast, losing all your SP is almost never a good idea. And a converted SP gimmick is kinda counterintuitive. If you wanted more HP, just upgrade your health. And to make things even worse, if your HP cap is lower than your SP, you don't even gain all of it. So you're basically just wasting it for no reason. Now, the concept is cool, yes, but it definitely should have been thought about more before adding it to the game. So I think a 3 out of 10 is fair. It might sound harsh for the first card, but it gets better later on, trust me. Hey, did I mention Medkit exists? Free Confusion is an action card made by Majin, and costs 3 BP to use, while having a max of 3 copies that you can find in the game. And it's the newest card in the free card family. Honestly, I kinda forgot these even existed. Once used, the player applies level 1 Confusion enchantment to themselves or allies, at the cost of 4 SP. Kind of expensive. But this causes the person hit by the attack to receive level 1 Confusion for 3 turns. Now, by itself, I understand it doesn't seem that good. It's okay at best. But it's about time we get a reliable way to make someone confused. However, the main appeal of these enchantment cards is stacking them together. So we should look into that. You see, my dear viewer, when free cards are stacked together, they increase the effect's duration or level with each card added. And with Free Confusion, we can reach a total of level 3 Confusion. While Free Confusion costing 3 BP does make using multiple pretty expensive, the enemy has a really good chance of losing out on a turn and draining some of their health. This could be actually vital for shutting down important enemies like healers or charge-up attackers, preventing them from doing important moves that could honestly change the outcome of the battle. Overall, I give this card a 6.5 out of 10. It's definitely a very simple idea, but my favorite of all the free cards. Full Power is a passive card made by Cloud Drift _ that costs 3 BP to use and has a singular copy available, giving the player a staggering 2 attack power. Holy moly, that's a lot. However, this only applies when the user has full HP and SP. Additionally, this card reduces all HP and SP gained by 30%. Okay, I'm just gonna say now, I need this card to be added. This is an amazing idea. Full Power's design is awesome. It works so well because this game is pretty forgiving when it comes to surviving attacks. If you have a good amount of HP or defensive cards, you'll most likely be fine. And slip-ups when it comes to dodging is almost never a big deal. Usually. But with this card, you were actually rewarded for your skill, and I love that. This card's design is really creative as well. And honestly, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's really cool. Although I think it should cost a little bit more BP and reduce the healing gain a little bit more, but it would be an awesome welcome addition. Healguard is a passive card also created by CloudDrift_, and it's the most expensive card on this list so far, costing 4 BP to equip, and having a max of 3 copies. Dang, 12 BP to get its max potential is kind of a lot. Healguard restores the player's HP by 1 each time they parry or dodge an attack. Now I know what you're thinking. This might not sound like a lot, and yes, you are right. For many bosses who are on their own, this is nothing. But when equipping 3 of these at once, and in a battle containing a group of enemies, summons, enemies with a fast status effect, or double turns attribute, trust me, this HP will quickly add up, and you'll be getting 3 HP per attack. This could honestly go into the double digits eventually. And this could come in clutch in a bad situation, and potentially be the deciding factor for if you win or lose. Now, it might be weak in some places, but is extremely helpful in others, like the pit, letting you stay healthy for the next floor to come. Overall, a pretty balanced, rewarding, and nice card that has the potential to completely demolish certain fights. I think it deserves a solid 8 out of 10, although it might be a little bit broken. Heat Up is another passive card made by Majins, and it costs 3 BP to use and maxes out at 1 copy. This card allows the player to not suffer from the burn effect, but actually benefit from it, since the damage you would have taken for each turn becomes swapped into health. A simple but interesting idea. And there are actually a good amount of places where this card would be helpful. Chapter 4 is the most obvious one. Adding this to your deck would make this so much easier. And even though the healing won't be that much, it won't be an insane amount because it's almost always going to be 1 HP per turn, it directly stops you from losing that HP, so you won't slowly get chipped away at. This card could also let you save your items for more desperate times. The design is pretty simple, yes, and you probably won't equip it too much, yes, but is it a bad concept? No. So I think it's fair to give it a generous 5.5 out of 10. Punching Bag is an action card with the card design being made by Available Log 9102, and the concept was made by Pitiful Min 9019. Punching Bag costs 3 BP to equip, 5 SP to use, and it has a max of 1. Punching Bag tries to inflict enrage for 3 turns on all enemies. This causes enemies to deal double damage and target the user who inflicted onto them. Now, this card is basically a better but more risky bodyguard, taking all the pressure away from weaker or more valuable teammates. And it's incredibly useful in a party to protect your healers or damage boosters if you're a tanky player or someone who's just good at dodging. However, like any support build, Punching Bag is completely worthless alone unless you want to go kaboom! Although it could be a game changer when you're challenging a pit with friends. The concept is pretty well done for the limitations that it has, but its use case does entirely rely on having a team. So I'll give it a fair 6.5 out of 10. Reuse is a passive card made by CloudDrift_. It costs 4 BP to use and has a max of 1. Now, this card gives the player a 1/4 of a chance to keep an item after using it. Now, if you get unlucky, don't worry. The card gives you some pity and increases the odds of keeping the item by 5% with every unlucky attempt. When your item is kept, however, your chance will go back to the normal 25%. This card is a nice addition to your build if you really do find yourself relying on items and you find yourself taking a ton of damage and not parrying in time. However, if you do have some skill when it comes to reaction time, or just find yourself brute forcing everything with damage and just strategy, I don't think this will be very useful for you. Although the usage is clearly there. Overall, I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. It has potential to be really strong for some people, but if your best healing items are strong enough to keep you up, this won't make that much of a difference. Slug's Curse is our final passive card made by Majins. It costs 3 BP to use with a maximum card limit of 1. Now this card is actually pretty interesting. Basically, whenever you enter a battle, the enemies have a chance to become slow and skip their first turn. Now that might sound pretty good on paper, but this card actually has a huge trade-off. If an enemy is slowed, so are you. So to put it simply, this card is rather completely useless if it doesn't activate, or you get 1 extra turn to attack. Now I could see this being used in boss fights to get 1 free turn to attack or set up a buff before being in danger, but you're generally off doing anything else. Plus, if the enemy has a double turn attribute, this card's usage is cut in half, since they still get to attack once. It's an interesting idea, but it's executed quite poorly. I think a 4.5 out of 10 is fair. The final and best card on this list is by far Status Steal. Status Steal is an action card made by Jazzy Blue. It costs 4 BP to equip and 5 SP to use. Like the name says, this ball attack has a chance to steal most positive effects from the enemy hit, and also exhaustion for some reason. I don't know why this is included. I'm just gonna say it right here. This card alone makes ball worth using. And it's such an amazing idea. Being able to directly remove any buffs from an enemy and take advantage of them makes all support enemies who would originally be a pain to deal with actually help us. Status Steal would be absolutely broken. But honestly, I think Ball deserves something good. It's been in the gutter for ages now. While I do think it will be toned down a little bit, potentially giving it a chance to steal negative effects as well, so we actually have a drawback. Overall, this is definitely my favorite card on the list, and honestly, I think it deserves a 10 out of 10. Why not? And that's all the custom cards added in Battle Simulator's first update. While yes, some cards were definitely better than others, the concepts shown are actually really creative and really well done. It's some of the best things I've seen from the community, and seriously, freedom is just waiting to be utilized, and I really do hope we get to see some fan-inspired cards added in the next demo. If this game adds any more of these cards, I'll be sure to make a second part to this. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.